So welcome back to another live stream, guys. Dave from Horizon Fish Keeping. And today we're just going to be doing a basic bit of a fish room maintenance day kind of thing. It's a bank holiday weekend, so I want to just do a bit of a chilled out one today. Now I've got some tanks to top up and stuff, and I'm going to go around and just check all the tanks and make sure everything's all right. How are we doing, Rob? So I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything today. I'm going to be live streaming for about 2 hours probably. But first of all, I've just got to top these tanks up. I'll keep checking back on the comments, and hopefully you guys will stick around to watch it. I mean, I'm just going to be doing basic stuff in the fish room. I'm going to show you some of the projects I'm doing as well. If you've been sticking around and seeing some of the videos that I've been putting up on growing out the brine shrimp and also some of the breeding projects. We've got the angel fish just here, and we've got a tank full of rams, some eggs as well. We've got some eggs on the back there. So I'm just going to be doing bits and bats really. But if you want to leave any comments in the comment section, that'd be awesome. The more you put up there, the more people come in and the more chat we've got. So just chat away, and I'll get on with doing some water changes and stuff. So I'm going to do this now, and then I'll get to you as soon as possible. Nice to see you, Rob. Hope you're having an awesome bank holiday. I know I am. It's been a steady one, to be honest, but we're just going to get on with doing some jobs today and topping up some tanks. We've got some rams in one of the tanks. They're sitting on eggs, so I can't really disturb them ones, but the other ones I'm just going to top up. I've been bubbling off some water because I've run out of dechlorinate for 24 hours, so I've just got some air stones and some buckets down here just to top up some of these tanks because they're getting a little bit low with the evaporation and stuff. So hopefully I can get it done fairly quickly, and then I'll show you some of the tanks in the house as well. I haven't been really showing the tanks in the house that often, but if you just look on the other screen there, I've got the camera on the rainbow fish tanks in the house. So I'm going to be doing bits of projects in there as well. I'm going to take some plants out of these tanks that I want to plant. I've got a crinum as well that I want to put in to the rainbow tank, so hopefully that should be all right. But like I said, I'm just going to do these water changes first. And it's just a steady one today, really. I'm not doing all crazy today. I filmed my video for next weekend. I've been talking to Scott as well, one of my subscribers, about doing the brine shrimp grout, and I think I'm going to probably empty that out and start again with it. I think I might have fouled up the water with the liquid fry food, the liquid fry from Interpet. I'm kind of bombing that stuff in at the beginning, and Scott's in the chat actually. Morning, mate, how are we doing? I'm just doing a bit of a laid back one today, Scott. I need to do some top ups because these tanks are looking pretty shit, to be honest. So I just need to get some top ups going off with them. The thing is, I don't really do massive water changes in my fish room. I do sort of like top ups mainly. I find if I do the water changes with the API, it kind of kills all the fry off, and it takes a little while longer for the adults to breed as well. So I'm just watching this as well because I don't want to spill it all over my floor like I did last weekend. I'm not going to do that tank there because they're sitting on eggs and I don't want them to sort of like go nuts. Yeah, I'm good, Scott. Cheers, mate. Thanks for jumping in as well, because the more watch time I get on these live streams, the better they seem to do. I don't know what. Sometimes on YouTube it's a bit weird for videos. You put up a video, you can get like 10 views in 24 hours, and all of a sudden you just get loads of views. I put up a video like guppy breeding behaviour or something about 2 years ago. For some reason last night it got like nearly 1,000 views. It's crazy how it works. The analytics on YouTube is crackers. Like I said, I'm just going to top these up, lads, and lasses, and then I'm going to go around some of the tanks and just show you what we've got going on. Because like I said, I've got them German blue rams that are sat on eggs. I've got a tank full of German blue ram fry. You can barely see them because they're tiny. And the angel fish as well, they're doing pretty good. Sorry, I keep looking down to see if I'm going to spill out these tanks or not. I've just been, I run out of water dechlorinated, so I've just been bubbling off 2 massive buckets of water just for 24 hours to get the chlorine out of them. But I tend to do it this way because I find with that water dechlorinator, it just rips the oxygen out of water for some reason. So if I've got fry in the fish room, I'll bubble water tanks off like this. and just top them up instead of doing like a massive water change. But no, it's nice to see you guys in the chat as well. Just gives me an opportunity to speak in real time as well, because like obviously with comments, if I'm at work or something like that and you guys send me a message, it takes me a little while to get back to you and stuff. Whereas if I'm on a live stream, I can just sort of talk to you straight away. But I'm going to drop this tank down later, Scott, this saltwater one. I've just ordered some sea salt off Amazon, just some of this stuff again. I've run out. I think I used like 5 kilos in about, well, I used like 32 scoopfuls in there, so 32 like dessert spoonfuls of salt in that tank, just to set up that saltwater tank. So obviously I used a lot of salt in that one, and then I use it for my brine shrimp hatchery as well, like 2 tablespoons or dessert spoons a day to do the brine shrimp hatchery. So I've just absolutely caned for all my salt. So I need to buy some more. So I'm going to get some. I've ordered it already, so it should be here tomorrow. And then I'm going to rip this down today. I've got some brine shrimp in there, but they're not sort of growing out to adults like I thought they would. They're just sort of dying off, or just staying really small. And I'm not sure if I'm putting too many in, or like you said, just probably put too much water volume in. Because the ones that I've seen, the videos that I watched on YouTube, they're only like half filling it. I saw one guy, he just did like a 2-litre bottle, and he like laid it on its side, and where the cap goes, he just had like a tap to it, so he could drain them out with a bit of gauze over it, so it didn't sort of pull out the babies, but it was just pulling out the bigger brine shrimp. Yeah, it's going all right in the fish room relay. I've shut a couple of tanks down. I need to get rid of this meth blue water. I had spawn of angel fish eggs for some reason, the fungus stuff, and they just weren't viable. So I don't know if they want fertilized or what, but they turned out shitty, and obviously they all fungused up, and that tank needs just ripping down and starting again. I've just been making some infusoria as well, just to feed the rams. I usually do the infusoria for a couple of days before I put them on first bites, and then I'll get them on first bites for about 3 or 4 days after the infusoria, and then I usually go on to the baby brine shrimp, and that's how I get my rams going. But I've got 3 good breeding pairs. I'm sorry if it's buzzing really mental as well. I've got 4 air pumps. I've got linear piston air pump up there. I've got one running the meth blue tank one, and that's shared with the brine shrimp grout tank, and then I've got the other air pumps running the Oscar tank and the brine shrimp hatchery, so it's a bit loud in here today. Usually I knock them all off when I'm filming, but on a live stream I could be on it for like an hour, 2 hours, so I tend to leave the pumps going when I'm on the live streams. If you guys have been watching as well, I'm doing a bit of a back to basics guppy grout as well. I ain't doing guppies for years now, but I've got some guppies in a tank just here, and I've been selectively breeding them. I'm trying to get the all black guppy really, but I think they're throwing some weird colours, so I keep like selecting a few out and chucking them in a tank just down here. So I've got like a tank full of males. They're looking all right. As far as plants go, in the fish room I don't really bother. I've just got some it's covered in duckweed. Every tank's got duckweed. I bought a plant off eBay, and it's just sort of spread around the fish room, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, because if you're trying to net fish out when I'm breeding stuff to sell to the shops, there's just duckweed all over the place, which I try and get most of it out, but I'm doing I fill this up like most days. I fill just get the the duckweed out, and I fill this literally to the brim, so if you're in need of any duckweed, then let me know. I've got a few people that wanted some fish as well. I know y'all wanted some German blue rams, and I can't remember now who wanted some rainbows. I've just totally forgot. I've been so busy. I've been working 2 jobs, running the fish room. It's just been absolutely crazy lately. And obviously I'm selling fish as well. It's getting a bit nuts. I need to calm down a little bit and do some R&R. Bank holiday weekend, and I'm just here in the fish room working and stuff, but that's how it goes, isn't it? You want to do these things. You gotta put time in, unfortunately. If you guys want to know out in the comments, then let us know. So Scott's just saying I need to get my finger out and finish getting my shed converted into a fish room, as I assume out of space. As I'm running out of space in the spare room. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So this shed, it's like a shed. It's shed stroke garage. Right, I've run out of water now. So shed stroke garage here. So it's I think it's like 20 or 30 foot long by 12 or 15 foot wide. So it's big. Like I can put my arms out above my tanks, obviously. But it's long. Like I could fit like probably five foot tanks, maybe something like that. 4 or 5, so 20 foot, 25 foot long. By about, I'd say about 20 foot wide. So it's quite a big place. I mean, when I stand at the other end, yeah, like, and there's a big tank here, and then a cupboard which the tank's backed up to, and then there's room further back as well. There's quite a big shed stroke garage, but it fits all the tanks in that I need so far. But I'm thinking about ripping some of the tanks out, because I've got too many small tanks, and with the breeding fish that I'm doing, I'm getting sort of like hundreds of rams a week. I usually pull the mops on the rainbow tanks once a week as well. So every 7 days I'll pull the mops out, which I've just done today actually. I've moved some of the breeders, some of the dwarf neon praecox rainbows out of there, and I've put them in the rainbow fish tank. We probably see them swimming around on the camera in the house. So I've moved them across today, because it's getting a bit sort of male heavy in there, and I'm wanting to do more of the idea of the rainbow fish tank was to move a load of praecox. So I wanted a big school of praecox in my rainbow fish tank, and then so the tank just below me here, I've probably got there's maybe 70, 80 praecox rainbow fish, not fry, like juveniles in there, and the tank at the back, which used to have the turtles in, so it's like the low tank. I think it's like, it might be 40, 50 gallon, that terrarium at the back there. I've actually just filled it up as much as I could recently, and then I've just put all my rams in there, but there's probably about 70 rams in there at the minute, which are juvenile. And then we've got the 40 breeder with the angel fish in, and obviously the 5 foot tank with the Oscars in just at the side here. So it's a bit of I'm running out of room, and I'm breeding too many fish. I've got to the point where I'm breeding the egg laying fish to a point where there's so many fry from them. I mean, I've got three pairs of breeding ram's edge, them super edge blue rams at the back here, and they're all, 2 of them are sat on eggs, and one of them's got fry swimming around them. So I'm going to have to pull the swimming fry out. But then I've got this tank here which has got about 200, 300 ram fry. Sorry, I'm losing track here. Ram fry in this one. So I'm sort of like, you're just constantly playing musical tanks. It's a bit of a nightmare, but it works out pretty well in the long run, because by the time I get these to juveniles, the rams, this wholesalers just want them straight away. So as soon as I get them to about an inch, the wholesalers just come and wipe them all out and take them all, which works out for me, because then I've got a free tank and I can keep moving the babies across. But with the angel fish that I'm doing at the minute, I'm going to need like a 4 foot grout tank, which I don't have at the moment. I've only got the 5 foot tank that the Oscars are in, so I'm needing sort of another 40 breeder 5 foot tank to grow out the angels, which I just don't have space for. On the side where I'm doing these, the little tank, because the little tank here is going to be the angel fish fry. Once they get to the angel fish shape, I'm going to put them in this little tank just here. I'm thinking about putting a 40 breeder underneath, maybe on this side, I'm not sure, but there's just tanks everywhere, and I need some more space. I'm thinking about shutting a few tanks down, getting rid of some of the small ones, putting some 40 breeders at the top here, and then I'll just have the linear piston air pump just running them. And I was thinking about drilling them out and putting an auto water change on them as well. So that's going to be a project coming up soon, because I'm just breeding way too many fish. And when you do the egg laying fish, you end up having absolutely tons and tons of fry. So where are we at in the comments? Just here, I'll catch up with you guys. So Rob's just saying, I have work this afternoon, so I'm going to do some maintenance before I got the rest of the weekend to chill. Sounds good to me, that, Rob. Sounds good indeed. And then Scott's just saying, I've managed to pick up a couple of 3 foot, 4 foot second-hand tanks to use as grouts once my room's sorted. Yeah, that's a good plan, that. I got the small tanks thinking I'll be able to breed the fish in the little tanks, and then I won't really need the grout space that much. But you need the grout more than the breeding tanks, I'd say. So, I mean, I use these little pets at home ones. If you're from the UK, you'll know. I think they're 32 litres. I use them as breeder tanks. So once I've got my pairs together, I'll just put a bit of substrate in there, loads of plants or whatever, just make it really dense with plants. And then just put terracotta pots in there, and generally they'll spawn on the terracotta pots, and then you can move the eggs or the fry then away from the planted area or whatever, and then put them into a bare tank. So just keep it bare bottom, big sponge filter in there, and you usually get them to grow up in that sort of environment then. So that's what I do. And Rob's just saying, I've had more pleco fry in my community tank. I spent most of my Good Friday getting them out. Yeah, plecos are good, but I usually get the eggs out first. So I use, if I see the egg cluster, I'll just get them out and use this Chinesium egg tumbler, and I'll just tumble them in a bare tank. And then once the fry starts sticking to the edge of the tumbler, I'll empty this out into another tank, and I'll start feeding them like crushed up algae wafers, or you can use that spirulina powder that I got for the brine shrimp hatchery thing. That's good stuff. You're right about this stuff as well, Rob. The amount Scott, the amount that I'm feeding this brine shrimp tank, this will last me, I think, forever. I'll never have to buy it again. But yeah, it's going pretty well. So as far as the fish room goes, we're doing all right. If you want to know about the fish room or what I'm doing, then just let me know. I've run through quite a few things. I've been doing the top-ups, obviously. I'm going to rip the tank just here down. So this is the little area. One sec. But I've been doing I don't know if you can see it right well. That's the little area I've been doing the brine shrimp grout and stuff in this tank. I think I'm going to take your advice. Now I've got the buckets empty that I used to do, pumping the water around and stuff. I'm going to pump the salt water back into one of these containers and just half fill it, and then I'll throw that water away. And I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to bubble off some water in here, but I'm going to measure it out and make some more salt water up in a bucket so I can just pump it straight back into the tank. These brine shrimp in there, but they're just not growing. I don't know why. And what I've done is instead, Scott, I've got rid of the sponge filter, and I've put in one of these flat air stones because it's really low to the bottom of the tank. It creates more air turbulence, and I'm thinking it'll create lift for the spirulina that's just sort of sat on the bottom. Because when it's flat, when the air stone's flat, it creates like a vortex in the middle of the tank, which is pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to use that instead of the sponge. I do get the sponge idea, but like you said in the comment section on that last video, none of the bacteria in that sponge is going to be relevant to the saltwater tank. With it being freshwater bacteria, chances are it'll just die off anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the air stone just running so it lifts the spirulina powder off the bottom. I've noticed as well it's not as turbulent as the smaller air stones that I was using. So like this is the kind that I use to gas off the chlorine. These ones, if you put them in, they're so small and there's that much air pumping through, it creates a lot of turbulence in the water. Like if I put it in, it's more of a fine lift, where this is more spread out, and bigger bubbles as well on the bigger one. So it tends to create lift, but not as violent as the smaller ones. And the ones that are like half this size create some real turbulence. So these are ones that I just used to bubble off the chlorine out of the water, but they work pretty well for that. But this one's doing all right. And then I had some problems for some reason yesterday when I came into the fish room. Ghost and Phantom, I'm not sure if you can see that very well. I'll switch camera around. I can't remember how to do it now. Oops, wrong one. There's a way of switching the camera around. I've totally forgotten how to do it. No. Anyway, so I'll do it this way. the Oscars that I've got going here. One of the Oscars had a real problem yesterday. I don't know if you can see that or not. He had like white all over his face for some reason or another. But it's cleared up. I put some salt in yesterday. It seems to clear up. He's been picking up the wood and like bashing it to move it around, and that's created some issues on his top of his head there. And one of his fins is pretty ripped up. But I know they don't fight, these two. I think they're male and female. I think Phantom's a female and Ghost is a male, but they don't really fight that often. So I highly doubt they would fight. And if Ghost and Phantom were to fight, Ghost is like nearly double the size of Phantom. So she's a much smaller Oscar to Ghost. And I think if any one of the fish would be ripped up, it'd be Phantom. So I think it's more than likely that he's got the injuries to his face through trying to pick the wood up, and he's a pain in the ass. Basically, if I put something in this tank that Phantom doesn't like, he'll pick it up and move it around. He picks the sponge filters up by the airline, and these are big sponge filters, like they're the biggest ones you can get. He'll pick them up by the airline and he just carries them across the tank, and he'll just dump them somewhere where he wants them to go. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But yeah, it looks like it's cleared up. I put about half a cup of salt in here, so it's pretty salty in there. But I know being cichlids, it can handle the salt. So he's doing all right. It looks to have healed overnight, to be honest. I think it might have been a bit of his slime coat and some of the skin, but he's a pain in the ass for moving stuff, like I said. And that's what he's always been like. So I'll try and get you a shot on these angelfish fry, because these are pretty cool. Oh. Without putting the camera through the roof. Now I'm doing this totally backwards here, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit, guys. I've got them in this breeder box just here. They are tiny. Now usually it lets me zoom, but for some reason today it's been a bit of a pain here. Let's see if we can get on full screen. You have to bear with me a second, guys, because I'm not very tech savvy. Camera. Here we go. Front camera, back camera. This is what we want. Right, so turn it this way. I'll see if we can get you a shot, because they're a little bit of a pain to get on camera because they're so small. But oh my god, amateur moment here. Amateur moment. Right, let's see what's going on here. It's not letting me zoom. It's letting me zoom the page, but not the stream for some reason. No, I can't zoom in. So I'll try and get you like this then instead. You probably just see him just to the reverse camera. Yeah. Hopefully you can see them there swimming about anyway. They're just starting to take the shape of angelfish, which is pretty nice. They're still quite small. I've got them on baby brine shrimp now, so I'm hopeful that they'll grow up to be quite nice fish. And if you've seen the parents on the videos that I make, the parents are absolutely stunning. Like, they are proper, really, really sort of thick angelfish, sort of left to right, and the heavyweights, like they're really nice colours, especially the male of the two. They're absolutely banging. So yeah, they're doing all right. They're just sort of underneath that. The camera's on reverse for some reason. You should be able to see them anyway, just at the bottom. If you're watching on a phone or something, you've got absolutely zero chance of seeing them. But if you're watching on TV, then you'll be right. But yeah, we'll show you the parents just here. Just drop the tripod down. I'm having a real amateur day because, well, to be honest, I won't do a live stream. I've just sort of dropped on it quick time. But there you go. That's the female, and the male's just behind. You might not be able to see because of the glare, but they're doing really good. Let's just check out the comments. So yeah, Rob and Scott's talking about the plaqueurs. Got a load of. So who's saying this now? So Scott's just saying he's got a load of L181 peppermint plaqueurs, snow white longfin, short fin. You guys are well on your way to making some good money if you can breed some of them. That's for sure. The peppermints will sell really well, and I think the snow white longfins. I wouldn't mind some of them myself if you've got some of them, Scott. I've got the bristle nose, but they're just sort of basic ones that I've got. The only one that I've got that's kind of fancy is the I'm not sure of the L number, but the clown flickers. I've got a couple of clown flickers in the rainbow tank that's on screen there, and the rest of them are just bristle nose. I've got an albino and a calico that breed regular, but they throw out a lot of browns, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, these guys are looking good. What else can we? I'll try and show the rams, because these rams are right on the front of the tank just here with some eggs. Sorry about the camera angles, guys. I'm faking it as a YouTuber today, so I'm not doing very good. Right, let's see if we can get a shot of these guys. So if you just see the round dish where the male's sat above, if you look very carefully, you'll see that there's eggs right there underneath him. There's probably, as a rough guess, I'd say there must be 150, 200. Has got to be. But they're doing pretty good. Sorry about the buzzing. I'm right next to my linear piston air pump here, so it's going to be pretty buzzy. But these guys are doing pretty well. If you notice as well, I keep my tanks really molmy. You can do it one way or another. You know, Master Breeder Dean or whatever it's called from Aquarium Corp. His tanks are sterile as hell. Mine are the polar opposite of that. So I keep it pretty molmy, and I find that it helps with the fry. It's just my opinion. Obviously, Master Breeder Dean breeds tons of rams, so he's got his way and I've got my way. You'll see there's Paphos roots as well. All my Paphos plant is above there, and all the roots go into tanks that filters the water pretty nice. These are shit ton of duckweed in here as well. But these the German blue rams especially, I keep my tank at about 30 degrees Celsius. So I think it's like, what is it, like 81, 82, 83, something like that Fahrenheit. So I keep them really warm, and they tend to breed for me every month. I've got three breeding pairs at the minute, and I've always, one of the tanks has always got eggs in it. So I can literally just pull out like the slate and hatch them out. I don't do the meth blue method neither. I find it far easier to let the parents grow the fry up, and as soon as I see that swarm of fry around the parents, what I'll do is I've got a big siphon hose. Calm down, ladies. No, I've got a big siphon hose that I just pull out the fry into a bucket or a jug or something like that, and what I do is I'll match the water parameters of the parent's tank in another tank, and I'll just dump them in. As soon as they're about 2 or 3 days old, they'll get dropped into a tank. I find with rams as well, if you leave them too long with the fry swimming around them, they'll eat most of them, so just be wary of that. So the quicker you see them and the faster you get them out of the parent's care, the quicker you'll have success with them. Or you can pull the parents out, but it's quite hard to do with a net. If you're trying to pull the parents out and there's a big swarm of fry around them, you'll find that you'll pull some fry out with a net as well, unless you get like a big sort of a big mesh, so big holes in the mesh sort of net. You'll tend to find that you'll get some of the fry out of there as well. Underwater dragon, Rob Legg's saying. Is that the green one? I can't remember what they call it, but yeah, I know which one you mean. Rob's saying he's got a golden nugget plecker. Can't remember the L number. Never see it. Yeah, I tend to find that with my pleckers. They like to hide a lot, especially with if you look at how I've got it set out there with like the islandscape thing on the rainbow tank. I've actually got like a 7-inch ghost knife fish that lives underneath all of that rock and stuff, but you never see him during the day. The best way to get him out, I've found, is feed some meaty pellets. So what I usually do is actually I'll put some fishing pellets in there. So something like halibut pellet that you used to go fishing with. I just drop one of them in and it's come straight out. Scott's saying I've been growing out 6 LR46 zebras. That's a nice one to have. Just for 2 years, I'm hoping that I get males and females and start a breed this year. Yeah, if you start some of them, Scott, you'll be well on your way to make some good money for your fish room. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Scott. I know you wanted some. I thought it were you that wanted some. I lose track of who wants what because obviously you're pretty local. I can definitely sort some of them out. I'll sort your breeding pair out. Yeah, I've got. If you're talking to me, Rob's just saying you must have loads of tanks. I've only got 6 at the moment. I think I've got 31 now. 31 tanks. So I've got 6 in the house and shitloads in here. But yeah, the electric bill's getting disgustingly high with this new whatever it's called, energy crisis or whatever. So you got to put some more hours in. But the good thing about a fish room is you can breed fish to sell, and if you breed fish to sell, then you can afford to run your fish room, which is how I do it really. It basically runs a fish room for itself. So every time we get a batch of rams or whatever, I sell them, and then that buys brine shrimp eggs, whatever, and then that's pretty good. I've actually got a crinum plant just here. We're in one of my partner's tanks. She's give up on the hobby. It's looking very, very sad. It's got good roots in it, but it's looking real sad. I'm going to put this in the angel tank today. I'm assuming the plecos will absolutely nail it, but I'm going to have a go at trying to keep this thing alive. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it does. And then I've just pulled out loads of tanks because my partner's give up with the fish keeper now. She's got some kittens and she's just been promoted at work as well, so she's struggling to keep up the tanks a little bit. Sorry about the water spot, guys, on the glass as well. You can probably see I've been doing some water changes and maintenance, but I'm going to get around to that today. I was hoping to show you my my rainbows that I've got down here, I think, but I'm not sure if my tripod's small enough. This is one of my rainbow hatch outs. So I've just moved the mops to this tank just here. Reverse camera, I keep forgetting. So the mops have gone in there. You'll see some fry in there next couple of days probably. They usually take about 7 to 10 days to hatch the rainbows, and they take absolutely months to grow out. Like I've got some in the tank there. I think there's around 70 or 80 of them guys, and they're really taking the time. Scott's just saying I've got 2 display tanks in the living room and 9 in the spare bedroom. Yeah, the spare bedroom. Anyway, you can get a tank like under the stairs, like Harry Potter. Just get them in there, ram them in. The reason I've got all these tanks in here is because my missus were getting fed up of seeing fish tanks all over the place and we're spilling water all over the house. So when we moved house and we got the new house, if you look back through my videos, like you'll see where I first started YouTube, I was just running tanks in my bedroom, and then we moved to this house where we are now. It's a much bigger house, obviously. We upgraded it a bit. And this house is like 3 bedrooms. We've got a massive conservatory, and we had the big fish tank in there until we realised that the fish tank was too heavy. So it's like 500 and something litres. So every litre is a kilo. When I filled it up, it were all right. And then about 6 weeks after filling it up, the floor, you could see the floor moving away from the skating boards around the room. And I'm like, oh shit, this tank's going to go through the floor. So we need to move it. So I ended up putting it in the living room, but it's actually started doing it there. We live in a new build now, and it's not built very well, I'll say the least. I mean, I work in construction, so I knew this already, but that's why I ended up moving the tanks outside. Obviously, in this room here, I've probably got nearly 1,000 litres worth of water in here, but it's doing all right. Yeah, Scott's just saying that's the problem with this hobby. Yeah, you get one tank. It's like you get one tank, and then you put something in it, rams in it, and then you think I like to keep my fish separate. The only tank really is that one that's on screen, the rainbows. I actually started it off as just a rainbow tank, and then I thought it'd be nice if it had some cories in it. So I put some cories in it, and then like maybe a few plecos. So I put some plecos in there, and now it's got angelfish, gouramis, rainbow fish, plecos, and cories in there. So it's a bit of a nuts. It's a bit of a nuts tank, but it does well for me. I'm hoping. I saw a video a few years ago on Keeping Fish Simple's channel. So Nick from Australia, he did like a review on a fish room, and they had some Bozeman rainbows in a tank, and they were about 20 years old, and they were absolutely massive. You probably catch up and have a look at it soon, like if you wanted to check it out. But if you go on there, then and see them rainbows, it just gives you that bug where you just want some more rainbows and some big Bozeman eyes and stuff. This is I'll just try and get you into this one. I keep forgetting it's like a backwards camera. It's doing me head in. So this is another breeding pair of my German blue rams. These guys, all the rams that I breed now are the ones that I've bred already. So I'm not sure if you can see them very well. They're looking a little washed out, these guys, for some reason. This is the male, just here. Is looking a little bit washed out. The tank's disgusting. They've got some eggs in there, so I can't really do anything with it. I feed them the high protein pellets as well. I think I've shown them on camera before. So this is what I get. I buy it from the local LFS, whatever. It's called Better's Choice. It's high protein pellets, and it's really small. So I give this to most of my fish after sort of brine shrimp stage. It's sort of a tiny little pellet. I'll see if I can get it on camera without that way backwards. So it's a really fine pellet, and these guys just go mad for it, especially rams. I don't feed any bloodworms. I know people are like, yeah, it's high protein, they're amazing, whatever. Bloodworms and rams and bloodworms and rainbows are shite, I'll be honest with you. All you'll ever find is you'll get bloat, they'll get bloat and die. Yeah, multi-tank syndrome, that's definitely right, Scott. It's a real thing. I think they should have some kind of therapy for it. It's a true thing. But yeah, the bloodworms, like we're saying, I just don't feed them. I think they're crap. I don't feed anything like that. The only live foods I use is water worms, micro worms for the fry. I do baby brine shrimp every single day. That brine shrimp hatcher never stops. I literally empty it out and I split it into two. And I'll do one once in the morning, once in the night. But I do a mixture of baby brine shrimp morning and night, and then I do pellets as well for the bigger fish, and the smaller fish I do Hikari first bites and brine shrimp together. I never just do one food. So usually with the fry, especially ram fry, if you've got them in a tank and you feed just first bites, sometimes the fry food will go past them. And what you'll find is with rams, if you've got a light above your tank, the rams go to the light, so they'll go up to the top of the tank. So baby brine shrimp's good for that, because obviously the photo, whatever it's called, and they'll swim to the top, and if the rams are there, they'll just pick them off as they go along. That's really good food for them. Rainbow fish are a bit more mid-water, so you can get away with first bites and brine shrimp, and they'll sort of find them. But I tend to sort of dim the lights down on the rainbow tank so the brine shrimp sink to the bottom. But yeah, I'd never bother with bloodworms, especially frozen bloodworms. They're really bad. Rob's just saying, yeah, I've not given bloodworms anymore. Yeah, I wouldn't bother. Mr. G, hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining the party, sir. Yeah, bloodworms for me have always been an issue with all fish. I just think it creates bloat. I don't think they can digest them very well. And when you're throwing in them blocks of frozen ones, you're way overfeeding the tank. If you've got any snails in there or like that, they're just going to populate like mad and just create loads of problems for you. What I'm going to do is, guys, I'm just going to knock off the camera for 30 seconds and I'm just going to try and adjust this tripod without making a fool of myself. I'll be back with you in 1 minute. So here's the terrarium. stroke. It was a turtle tank at one point. I've got an absolute ton of rams in here. I'm just thinking if I feed them, they might come out and you might be able to see them. So I'll get some of my high protein pellets. Not sponsored by these guys, by the way, so they're just genuinely good. And I'll tell you why I think they're good, because when I breed fish, these pellets are, I think they're something like 62% crude protein, which is way higher than any food that I've ever used. Even bug bites, it's higher than bug bites for crude protein. And obviously we all know if you're breeding fish, you want a high protein diet. They're even bigger protein than brine shrimp and stuff like that. Hopefully these guys will start coming into view now. There's an absolute ton of rams in here. There's an alpha male ram in here, which is a pain in the ass and chases a lot of fish around. Some of them have seen it. There's a little tetra in there as well. I'm not sure what type of tetra. It's some sort of high fin one. I rehomed it for someone that couldn't look after them. Oh no, sorry, they were changing the tank round and they didn't want so many tetras in there, so I took them. Where are we at? Scott's saying, I've never really bothered that much with bloodworms. I had some issues with them. I used to breed discus 12 years ago. Never gone back to them. Yeah, discus. I'd love to do a discus, and I will do it at some point. I'll definitely do a discus. Mr. G, I feed live once a week. Copepods, Daphnia, and small bloodworms. Yeah, all good foods. Bloodworms I probably wouldn't bother with, but each to their own. If you like bloodworms, you like bloodworms. And thank you very much, Mr. G. If you could all hit the like button, that'd be absolutely awesome. I just want to say thanks to everyone as well. If you guys are subscribed to my channel, I know most of you are. It's been awesome this last couple of years just doing the videos. I just do it for fun, really. There's no massive, you're not making a lot of money on YouTube. I think this month it's been like 28 days. I made like 67 quid. And for the amount of hours I've put in filming, watching the fish, all the money it costs to do them, there's no real profit in doing fish keeping on YouTube unless you're an absolutely massive channel like Aquarium Corp or MD Fish Tanks or something like that. You're not making any big money on YouTube. So if you're trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers, see how much money you'll make, you won't make a lot. So don't quit your jobs yet. I work full time. I'm a floor and wall tiler. I do also do some side work like driving vans and stuff for a local hire company. And I also do YouTube and sell fish. So you can imagine I've got like 4 jobs to create this fish room. So yeah, you're not going to be making any big bucks anytime soon. Even from selling fish, there's no real profit in it unless you've got a warehouse that's hitting like massive amounts of fish stocks. Then you're not going to do it. I'm just your average guy breeding fish in my shed. Like there's no massive money spinner out there or whatever. I know a lot of people think if you get onto YouTube then you'll make a killing, but there's that many people doing it. Then you don't make as much money as you think. I just do it for the hobby. I like to share what I'm doing in my fish room. It's nice to have a bit of a community as well. Some guys to chat to. Obviously, like Scott, who was giving me some advice on doing the brine shrimp grout. Just having them people around that can you can give a shout and say, look, I know you did this a couple of years ago, whatever. I'm stuck with it. I need some help. Really, really helps out. But hitting the like button and watching the videos does help out in a way, because I do get a little bit of feedback from it. I do get a bit of money out of it, obviously, and it goes towards my fish room and doing more videos for you guys. And also I'm sponsored by 2 companies. So I'm sponsored by Hyger, so I get free heaters and air pumps and stuff like that for my fish room, which is pretty handy when I'm doing the angelfish breeding project the other week, and my heater decided to explode because it was a Chinese in one. Hyger sent me out a new heater, and it's pretty badass. It's way better than I know it's made in China, but it's still better than the one I had. Yeah, doing pretty good. Mr. G, yeah, do it because you enjoy it, not for the likes or the cash. Agreed. Yeah, it's not for the likes or the cash. I do enjoy making the videos, to be honest. When I'm bored and stuff in my spare time, I like to edit them and stuff like that. I'm not saying I'm a master at video creation or whatever like that, but I think some of my videos are pretty good for a total amateur. I never recorded a video or edited a video up until a year ago. And some of the videos I'm even impressed with, to be honest. I don't know how I got through them, to be fair. Mr. G's is saying he's chucked a load of plants yesterday. Yeah, blackbeard algae is a pain in the ass. The way I stopped it is I used some of this. I took the plants out and I used some hydrogen peroxide. I got this off Amazon actually. Took them out, put them in the sink, and I just absolutely blasted them with this. You've just got to be aware it will kill off some of the leaves. This is 6% H2O2, so hydrogen peroxide. But it really worked for me. The blackbeard algae seemed to sort of go away. I do have it a little bit in one of my tanks still. I could do it giving it another once over with this stuff. But if you want to see what that is, I think my camera's reversed, so it might be backwards a little bit for you guys. But I use a 6% one. When you go onto Amazon to buy this stuff, there's various strengths. Now I struggle to figure out which one I needed. There's 2%, 6%, 10%. I don't think you can buy it pure. And you can use this in the tank. You can use like a pipette and just take it out of the bottle and squirt it directly in, because once, it's my understanding, I'm not a scientist, but hydrogen peroxide, once it mixes with water, turns into oxygen. So that's why you get the bubbling off the blackbeard algae. When you spray this stuff onto it, you'll get like it'll start fizzing and bubbling and stuff. And I'm assuming that's the reaction from hydrogen peroxide and the water. It makes oxygen. I think that's what it does anyway. Like I say, I'm not a scientist. I just looked into it a little bit. Mr. G's saying I'm going to replant come payday. Yeah, you can just do that as well. Bomb the tank with fire and just start again. Slowly enjoy your videos. Thank you very much, sir or miss. And Scott's just saying I've used that on blackbeard algae before. It does work. Just have to be careful with delicate plants. Yeah, so I used it on Anubias and Java fern. The Anubias seemed to take the hydrogen peroxide really well. And then when I put it in the tank, I probably got about 3 or 4 leaves off a really big Anubias plant. But the Java fern just it really melted back. I mean, like big style melted back. But the good thing about Java fern is once it melts back, you get the fresh plants off it, which it did. So I just sort of nixed them and then stuck them in. Mr. G, I use that as mouthwash, lol. I smoke a lot. That's pretty funny. Yeah, don't drink at home, kids. Don't take Mr. G's advice. Hydrogen peroxide is probably not the best as mouthwash. Although it probably wouldn't do out to you, to be fair. If it mixes with water and creates oxygen, you'd just be full of air. Yeah, I would try it, to be fair. I might just have a quick swig and see what happens. Remember to like, guys. A like for a like. But yeah, the Rams are doing really well. But yeah, hydrogen peroxide, I'd say, is probably the best. Miss G saying I was all over my Amazon swords and the Val. No, honest, it was a mouthwash. Google it. Oh, I didn't actually know that. Well, yeah, I still won't drink it though. I'm not too keen on that. But yeah, if it gets into Vallisneria, that could be an absolute pain in the ass to get off, because obviously there's so many strands in the Val. It'd just be just a waste of time trying to get it off that. Turkey teeth. Mr. G's got the turkey teeth. They actually put it in his hair. I think they use it in hair dye, don't they? Peroxide or some form of peroxide. Not sure which one. I'm going to Google it after this to see. Podiatrists use it too to soften your toenails. This is ridiculous. My toenails are silky soft. What else can we have a look at? I'm just going to try and move it around. Keep it moving. I'll try and show you the baby rams. If I can get a shot of these, I'll have to go real close and probably end up dropping my camera in one of the fish tanks, but we'll see. I hate this backwards camera. I'm not sure if you can see that, or if it's blurred or anything, because it won't let me zoom today. I'm using StreamYard and it's a bit of a pain in the ass. If you can see, leave a comment, because I can't see what you can see, obviously. But yeah, there's a ton of baby rams in here. Try and hold the camera still for a minute. You can probably just see them there. Tiny, tiny rams. Mr. G, I had an ingrained toenail. I bloody saw you there. Haley Hunter, my partner, she's dropped in on the chat. You shouldn't be on your phone, you're at work. The rainbow tank looks awesome. Yeah, it does look pretty nice. She's gone to work today, so this is why I'm doing the live stream. Unfortunately, she's a nurse and she's got to work all hours. So say hello to Haley, everyone. I'm not sure if you can see them. Usually, unless you zoom in, it won't let me zoom in. And then just next door to them, we've got the cherries and Bloody Mary shrimp. I've actually put some guppies in here as well. I've had these going for about a year and a half, and they're doing awesome. I've actually moved some of these to the guppy tank in the house. It's an absolute snail fest in here as well, because I drop like sinking food, sinking pellets, and obviously the snails get to it as quick as the shrimp do, and they'll just come out. I'll try and drop some of the better choice in there, and hopefully it'll bring some of the shrimp forward once I get the lid off. I'm so unorganised for this live stream, it's ridiculous. Mr. G says, hello, Haley. Working hard on a bank holiday weekend through no choice of your own. That's what happens when you do nursing, unfortunately. You end up working all hours. Let's get some of this. The guppies are trying to sniper it before they get to the bottom. Hopefully someone will give me reach the bottom. So that's the all black, what I'm trying to get to. This is one of the good males, backwards camera. It started off like yellow and orange, and now it's like black and orange and white all at the same time. Scott says, hello, Haley. Mr. G, have I tried Ebo food? No, but I'll check it out. I'm always on the lookout for new foods. Hopefully this will bring out some shrimp. It's not something I'm known for doing, the shrimp tank, but I just fancied a bit of a change. I started doing the guppies and the shrimp just for something fun to do. It's taking up a bit of a tank space that I could use for breeding, but I fancied doing it, and that's what I did. Then next after that, we've got the workstation area that I've been doing the little projects in. So the mesh blue lab. Everyone's got to have a mesh blue lab in their fish room. You can see the eggs there have all fungused up at the bottom, looking pretty nasty. So I'm pulling all this out today. I'm going to change the mesh blue out, and then I'm going to change the grout for the brine shrimp as well. So Scott's just saying it's very good. I've been product testing for Ebo UK. That's pretty nice, that, Scott, man. If you can get on that, I won't mind having a go at that myself. And Mr. G saying Whirl Aquatics. Yeah, I think I've seen some videos on that guy. He's quite a young lad that does the Whirl Aquatics, like quite a new fish store. Scott's just saying, yeah, it's Steve that runs the product testing. Pro Soft is great. Mr. G saying I find the Pro Soft too big, prefer the powder. Yeah, I might have a go at that stuff then. If you guys are saying it's good, I'll check that out. The Oscars will eat the big stuff. Can't get used to this backwards camera thing. It's driving me insane. I've got a Phantom over here as well. Backwards camera. Miss G saying I feed my Guppy Deluxe. I feed Guppy Deluxe Pro Soft. Yeah, it sounds like it could be a good food to use, that, guys. I'll definitely check that out. 2 people are saying it's good, it can't be bad, that's for sure. That is for sure. I'll see if we can get a better shot of these rainbows now I've took the tripod off. Sorry, angels. Yeah, these guys are doing awesome. As soon as I got them onto the baby brine shrimp, they just seemed to burst out and they were doing really well. I struggled with the first batch of the angelfish because they wouldn't take the fry food, they wouldn't take the Hikari first bites, which were a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But now I've got them onto baby brine shrimp, it seems to be doing good. I've just put some little plants in there as well. I was thinking, well, my thought train was that there must be some infusaria in there for them to eat as well, which obviously there must have been because now I've got them to this stage. But I'm looking forward to seeing these guys like in the shape of an angelfish. I think that's gonna be pretty cool once to get to that stage. They're kind of taking shape a little bit now. They're getting a bit bulkier in body, and you can see they're absolutely full of brine shrimp at the minute. They're really orange and looking really good. So Scott's just saying, yeah, Stephen is misses that deal with product testing. I've not been to the shop yet. Is it decent? Mr. G says, off to what, dog? Glad I caught you. I've subscribed. Thank you very much, Mr. G. I really appreciate that. You can look back at my other videos as well. I've done tons of videos over the last 2 years, breeding fish and just mad science projects in this fish room. And I've also got some tanks in the house too. So yeah, definitely worth catching up on them. And thanks for joining in. Solely, man, the sheds. yeah, we're in the shed. It's looking pretty good. Too many spiders. I need to insulate. I've still got stuff to do in here that I haven't done since last year, like this roof stuff. So I've panelled most of it and it's all insulated, but I haven't done the back bit yet. I need to paint it all as well, but the tank sort of take priority. We've got a bit of a leak. You see the water ingress just above the plug sockets there. I will say to you as well, Scott, if you're doing your fish room, keep all your sockets up high. I learned the hard way, so these are right up at the ceiling. There's 2 there, 1 over here, and then underneath the up high. For obvious reasons, water flows downhill, and it creates a real issue. When the big tank, when this sprung a leak, it were leaking out of here, but it were running round underneath, and my sockets were just on the shelf there, and that was causing some issues. I've got to clean this tank out today. This had a better fish in it, but I'm going to clean it all out, and I'm going to put this is going to be the next tank for the angelfish fry. So these guys in here, I need to make some space for them guys just for a little bit. So they're going to go into that tank for a little while until they get big enough, and I'll probably put them into the 40 breeder then, and hopefully that'll do all right. So Sol is saying, man, they should, yeah, we did that one. Scott's saying, Rams love the Pro Soft insect seafood and mussel. If you can try it, Dave. Yeah, I'll definitely have a look. Is there anyone I can contact, Scott, for that, or is it just go to the shop or whatever? I might try and get some ordered up. It's a bit of a mess in here because I've got this dust sheet down here with all my tools in there. I've got some stuff I need to clear up over here, just like heaters and stuff and old stuff and pots and jars. I did the flooring in here too. It's just that click flooring, which is disgusting because I've been doing water changes. I'm walking around in my muddy shoes. But yeah, it's looking all right. We're a bit sort of flying around. Mr. G, Ebro UK. Right, I'll check that out for definite, for sure, yeah. You can order online from Ebro. Right, I'll check them out. I'll definitely check them out. I'll do a review on them and see what I think. The other thing about my reviews is I'm totally 100% honest, and if it's crap, it's crap. I will say that I am sponsored by Haiger, and I'm not saying this because of that. Haiger products are really good. Like, I've got a few heaters from them guys. I've got wave makers and stuff, and they're pretty badass, to be honest. They're really good. I've used them for multiple applications, and they're pretty good. Right, guys, I'm just going to get a drink. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Because talking for an hour solid makes you want to have a cup of tea. So I'm going to be English and get a cup of tea. And I'll check out that website as well. One moment, please. Right, I'm just at the house tank. Hopefully it's not echoing too much. This is my rainbow fish aquarium. Try and show you around a little bit. Right, I'm just at the house tank. Oh no, it's on the volume. It's not echoing too much. This is my rainbow fish aquarium. I've just got the TV on so I can see what's going on. But yeah, we've got the angels just here. It's one of the angels. It's some sort of Zeb. Haiger wave maker in the background. Awesome, awesome wave maker. Probably one of the most powerful wave makers I've ever used. But yeah, it's pretty good. Mr. G saying free delivery this weekend. I think so. Good. It's so good. It should be illegal. It's like crack for fish. Nice. So that's what the I always say that about the brine shrimp. It's like fish crack. It's proper good stuff. Can't get enough of it. So all these, apart from the Bozeman, I have bred myself. I think all the blues and the reds I bought as well. Actually, the red ones. The scape's looking better, and it's cleared out nicely. Compared to what it was anyway, we're pretty rough. Miss G saying, "Oh, Scott's agreeing with the fish crack comment," and Mr. G saying, "I still use the other stuff, but can't fault Ebo. Is it Ebo? The quality is amazing. Definitely try a sample pack. I'll give Steve a call. It might help you out. You're going to do a review." Yeah, I might do that. I might just give him a quick ring and see if he wants me to do a review on it. Yeah, so Scott, I was thinking that Dr. Basler were only in US, but I've recently found out that you can get it in UK as well, which is pretty nice. I tend to use Macari First Bites for my fry, I'll be honest. Right, I shall see you in the fish room. Right, I'm back. So let's have a look at the chats. Not the cheapest food, but does last a while, Scott's saying. And also, how well have you insulated the fish room, Dave? So what I did is it's a double skinned wall. So it's basically a shed, and then in between the interior walls and the exterior walls is an air gap. So obviously that I've kept that free just so it doesn't create condensation, etc. And also when I worked on a building site a couple of years ago, or maybe a year ago, it was quite a big house, it was like a £2 million house, and the plumbing products kept coming in with polystyrene boards. So every time they opened a box, I would just sort of taking the polystyrene boards off the site. So I've stapled them all to the roof. Obviously, that's where you're going to lose most of your heat. And then some of the plumbing products came with this like insulation, like this kind of stuff, which is like a foam. It's probably about 10 mil thick ish. So I've nailed that to the door, and then I'm going to overboard this as well. So pretty much the whole room is done in that. You could, with it being double skinned, you could drill the walls and then spray foam. So you could use like expanding foam in the walls. That'd help insulate it. I've also got this little thing here, which is it's a probe for the temperature in here, and it runs down to just behind this. So there's a temperature control just there, and then that runs to this panel radiator. So currently in the fish room right now it's 24.7 degrees, but the radiator's off. You can obviously, that can come on and off whenever the probe tells it needs to. So I think if it drops under 24, then the radiator kicks in. But it's currently absolutely boiling in here. I'm in a hoodie, and it's really warm. So you don't need much heat to. Once it's insulated, you don't need much much in the way of temperature. The only time it ever stays on constantly is in the winter months, probably from about maybe November to maybe back end of February. The heater just stays on constant. That's when you're going to get the most kick in. So if you're going to start your fish room in winter time, make sure you've got some sort of heating in there. I also have a backup. If that heater fails, every single tank has got a heater in them. All of them have got heaters in, but they're set just below. So with the temperature of the room and the heaters in the tanks, most of my tanks are at 30 degrees. So because of the rams have got to be really warm. So like this tank here, it's probably about 82 Fahrenheit, something like that. Really, really warm. And it helps breed fish as well. The warmer the water is, puts them into some sort of like breeding mode. And that really helps to get the breeders going. But yeah, it's not insulated mega, but on the roof, I think it's 12 mil insulation. I've got a little cut in here. I'll just show you quickly. So this is the insulation that I used for the roof. So that's inside. It's about 12, 15 mil thick polystyrene boards. I just cut these to size, and then I've got a 15 mil OSB board screwed down as well. But it is a pitched roof outside. I'm trying to show you up there, so you can see the foam there. That's in between the braces, and then like a 15 mil OSB board. It is quite expensive, but obviously I work on a building site for my normal job. So whenever they were throwing OSB board in the skip, I just rag it out and throw it in my car and take it home with me. So that's paid for. That was free. And then the flooring is just click flooring. It's absolutely filthy now because I've been walking around in my trainers. and obviously it's been wet, but because I've been doing water changes. But this is just click flooring, and it's like a vinyl stuff that the water doesn't go through it, and you can just mop it and it just cleans it straight back up. So that's like it's got insulation under there as well. That's what I'm trying to get at. So underneath there's 10mm insulation, similar to this type of insulation. The only problem you've got to worry about is you can't when you insulate in the fish room, is you create a lot of water in the air. So you need a dehumidifier of some description. I'd probably say one of them ones with the pipe going outside is the best type. I have an air gap under this 40 breeder. Behind there, there's a vent in the wall that takes air out, and there's also one just behind my towels there. They've got an air gap there, so that takes air out as well. Void Vista, can somebody help me regarding betters? What are you looking for, Void Vista? What? So if you just leave a comment what you wanted to know, and then we'll try and help you out. I was breeding betters for a little while. It's not my thing because when you get them all in a tank, they can be pretty brutal. If you've all got a mate, just to leave a like, that'd be absolutely awesome. I really appreciate it if you would. Scott's saying I've used job light boards on the walls and roof and doors. Then I've put YBS reflective membrane silver, bubble insulation, roll all over it. Yeah, that'll be perfect. That will be perfect. It'll be really warm in there, so you don't get one of the radiators that sort of pump out the warm air. You're better off with a panel radiator. Even the oil-filled ones are better. I can't remember what they're called. Is it convection heater or something? Don't use one of them. You've got a mega risk of fire as well. Void Vis saying, just wanted to know if a female half moon better can breed with a placat male. Yeah, 100%. Any male and female better will breed together as long as it's the same type. Some of the betters are slightly different, so the mouth brooding ones are slightly different. But as long as they're that type, if they're both placats, then a half moon is generally that type anyway. So you can breed them together, yeah, no problem. You'll probably, if you're using the sort of bottle technique where you keep the male or the female in the bottle, and then you lift the bottle out for a couple of hours, and the way I did it was putting some bubble wrap on top of the water. It's like a small square of bubble wrap, about 2 inches by 2 inches, depending on your tank size. Keep your flow really low, and just keep them separate but in the same tank. So you can use like a 2-litre bottle, chop the top off, chop the bottom off. And as long as the water level's below the bottle height, so it keeps them segregated. And then what you want to do is you want to keep them in the same tank, feed them a little bit, one segregated from the other. I usually segregate the female so that the male can swim around the bottle. And then after about 3 or 4 days, I'll lift the bottle out, and then they'll come together. They'll look pretty violent, so they'll be like shaking up against each other, biting each other, chasing each other around. Just keep an eye on them, make sure they're not going too far and he's trying to kill her, sort of thing, because that can happen. And usually they'll lay eggs within a couple of days. I found usually 24 hours they'll have laid eggs, and then you can just leave them then to hatch out. And what I usually do is once they've hatched out, I'll pull the male and female out of the tank, and then just try and feed the fry once they're free swimming. And then you'll be successful. I've got a video on my channel as well if you want to have a look at that. Void Vista somewhere back in the historic archives of Horizon fish keeping, where I bred better fish. You can check that out. Scott's just saying I used oil filled when I had my discus room, but I've not settled on heating yet. It needs to be economical as possible. The energy prices at the minute, Scott, are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, any fish room is going to be expensive. The best way to do it is one of Mitsubishi aircon units, but they're so expensive to buy. They're like, you can be running into like $2-3 grand for a second-hand one. But they keep the air regulated so well because they'll pull out the old air, so they pull out the humidity and also bring in fresh air, which is exactly what you want for a fish room. But obviously, it's a massive expense to outlay to start off with. I find this panel heater is pretty good. I have no idea what make it is. I'll try and find out for you though. Yeah, so on the sticker on the back it says Easy Home, wherever that's from, and it's 500 watts, and that's heating up a 20-foot by 30-foot fish room on its own. And then the plug I use is just an Amazon. I don't even know how to explain. It's like an Amazon thermal controller, so it's got like a probe that you can on a 2-meter cable that when the temperature of the room gets up to my desire, you set the temperature on the plug, and then once it gets to that temperature, it knocks the heater off, and then once it drops below your desired low temperature, it'll knock it back on. So my low is 24 degrees, and my high is 25 degrees. So if it drops in between them two, if it goes below 24, it comes on. If it goes over 25, it turns off. So it's pretty good. I'm not sure who the company is that this panel heater is from. It just says Easy Home on it. I'm not sure who that is. You might have to Google it and just see who's doing the Easy Home panel heaters. And this particular one that I use is 500 watts, so it's a lot lower. I used to use the fan heaters that you can buy from like B&Q. I think they're like 2,000 watts when I first started my fish room. And I had 2 of them kicking on that thermostat controller. And if both of them came on, it used to trip my electric out because it would draw in like 4,000 watts from my house. So I used to trip out the circuit board in the house, like the RCDs. So I decided to go from 4,000 watts to 500 watts, and this is doing the same job, which is insane, really. But when I was using the fan heaters as well, the smart hub things were just like, my partner's got like an app on her phone where she can see how much electric it we're using, and it were like absolutely arseholing it. So in the winter months, we were doing like £100 a week on electric, and most of it were fish room, to be honest. Jody P, morning to you. Thanks for jumping in. We're just talking about heating the fish rooms and how we do it at the moment, Jody. So if you want to drop in on the comments, if any of your knowledge would be great. Scott's just saying, I'm wondering how economical that is to an oil-filled radiator. I think they're probably about the same, Scott, because the panel heater actually stays warm. It's like a really dense metal with a heating element on it. So the panel stays warm after it clicks off. Like now it's off, and I can feel it's absolutely red hot still. Same with the oil-filled radiators. They do the similar sort of job. They'll heat up and sort of keep warm for longer. Now, I did hear about these a long time ago when I was looking into heating the fish room and stuff. A lot of people were using them storage heaters, with like the stones inside. They're supposed to be like the most economical because obviously it heats the stone up and then it stays warm for longer. So it just seems to keep it warm for longer. So Jody's just saying my fish room has in-floor heating. So I head the room. Yeah, so that's another good way of doing it. That's what I'm actually going to do because I am a floor and wall tiler for my normal job. I'm going to tile the floor in here and have underfloor heating in my fish room, which is obviously, it's just the outlay. If you're starting out a fish room, then It's probably not the best idea to do, but that would be a very good idea, especially if you use like a natural stone tile, because they're about 25 mil thick, and once the stone gets warm, it stays warm for literally days. You know, once it gets up to temperature, it can take sort of 2 or 3 days to cool down. We do have underfloor heating in the house, in the dining room, and that if you put the underfloor heating on in there after like an hour or so, you're talking like you can't even bear to be in there. It's ridiculous. Rob's just saying I bought a Philips Smart portable ceramic fan from Curry's to heat the garage up. Yeah, that'll work. I mean, when I was using the fan heater, I used 2 little fan heaters. I ain't actually got one to hand at the minute. And they were, like I say, they were 2,000 watts each or 2,500 watts each, and they were absolutely killing my electric bill every month. I mean, like, to the extent where you're like eating beans on toast for a week because it costs so much to run the fish room. But yeah, generally, I'd say in England, you've probably got the only time you really need to heat the fish room is through the winter. I mean, like I say, I've got heaters in my tanks, and my radiator thing here is not even on, and it's still 24.5 degrees Celsius in my fish room right now. So I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. I'll have to just check. Yeah, so it's like 73 Fahrenheit in here now. And it's like 12 degrees Celsius outside. So that's pretty cold. Well, it's not cold for this time of year, but it's pretty cold compared to the summer months. And I'd be quite happy to turn my heater off now for the rest of the summer. The other reason I was leaving it on, like why it's on now, is because we're getting frost on an evening. So after like 10 o'clock at night, we're getting the frost. And that was causing the temperature in the room to drop really low. But I do have heaters in all my tanks as a precaution anyway. So they're kicking about 22 Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Celsius. So if the room or the heater breaks for any reason, they'll just sort of keep it going until I see it, sort of thing. Scott's just saying I'm going to run an air loop around the roof. In this one, running off one pump. Yes, I use. I've got a cheap linear piston air pump. I run mine off a manifold at the minute, but my intention was to do the loop. I just use this up here. There's loads of cobwebs on it. I built a little shelf out of some old wood, and I put a sponge underneath it because it drives me nuts vibrating all the time. Then I've just got a manifold, like a little plastic Temu manifold here. This breaks them off. And then every airline's got taps on it as well, so I can control what air goes into which tank and how much air goes into each tank. And then I've got a linear piston up there, and then my little project bit down here. I've just got a little air pump with a 2-gang on it. That's just there. That just runs my methylene blue lab, and currently the saltwater tank that I'm trying to do the brine shrimp in. And then at this side, under this jumble of wires, is a 4-gang. This is where all the wires come in. I need to tidy all this up and get it in a cupboard, really. I've got a 4-gang air pump just here as well, which runs the Oscar tank, the soon-to-be angelfish fry tank, and the 40 breeder, and also the fry boxes. That's what that runs. But I could actually run the whole room just off the linear pump, but I haven't run the loop round yet. So that's probably going to be a project coming up as well. I'm going to run the airline loop round. Jesus, that's a mouthful. And then I want to do some auto water change too, because I'm just sick of moving water around. I use the pump and I've got the Eheim whatever pump, and then I use the hook, to hook it onto tanks, and then that's just got a tap on it. So I've got 2 outside taps. I've got hot and a cold, so I keep them running. I drop the Eheim pump into a big bucket like this, the Ball mixing bucket from one of my suppliers, obviously. So the taps run into there, the pump's inside the bottom, and then I just control it with this and turn it on and off, and just hang that on wherever it needs to go. And then that just pumps water into the fish room. But auto water change is definitely one for the future. because it's much easier, obviously, to do auto water change than it is to be moving water around like that. Scott's just saying the last one I built, it ran off 3 times large 8-way Haley pumps. Yeah. And Jody's just saying an air loop is the way to go if you can. Yeah, I agree 100%. Just have an air loop and have loads of drops coming down from everywhere, so you can have like loads of variety of what air you need to use. You can also set up a 40 breeder somewhere with like a master breeder Dean's fry system in it, you know, for hatch outs and stuff like that. Because when you're using them fluval boxes, what I tend to find is the little gauze bit, the little mesh, seems to block up, and then they overflow, and then you end up with all your fry in the big fish tank, and they just get eaten. So if you're doing some sort of fry system, then a loop system would be definitely the way to go, 100%. Scott's just saying, yeah, I've just picked up a Charles Austin pump to run it. Nice. You can get some of them. I mean, I've seen people using them pond pumps. I'm not sure if that is one of them, Scott, or not. But I've seen people using like the big, you know, the ones to run the massive aerators that go in the ponds and lakes. And then you could just, even if you use, I mean, some people are like, oh yeah, but it's too much air, blow all airlines off. You can just have like a blow off on it. So you could, I've seen people just have like a tap on the manifold, and they'll just have it like half open, so there's no back pressure going to it, you know, to the linear piston pump. That's all I do with mine. On one of my manifolds there, it's just got an airline. If the tanks are boiling, which some of them do, I'll just back that tap off a little bit, so it's just running air into fishroom. That seems to help with any back pressure, because when I first set it up, I didn't know what I was doing. I just put like all the airlines onto sponge filters, and it just created like every now and again wherever the weakest joint was, if we're on a sponge filter or to the manifold or one of the jointing pieces, it just blow the airline off. And I think I got to a point where I was sticking like super glue on the joints or the taps, but then you create a lot of back pressure and it can nail your air pumps then. But Jersey say my linear piston air pump is maxed out. It's time to add another one in order to add more tanks. Yeah, so if you get the little ones, I mean, mine's a pretty small one, to be fair, but mine's basically the internals of one of the big plastic square ones. It's the same sort of thing, but it could easily run this fish room hands down on its own. The only reason I've got several is, again, it's just for a backup. If one of them breaks down, I've got more air pumps here, and I have a ton of air pumps anyway, just little ones just in case. And you've always got to think about the backups, because I mean, we had a power cut for a bit, and I was like, oh dear, this is not good. And you can't run the big piston pumps off of like battery banks and stuff, but the little ones you can. If you just use like a USB plug or whatever, you can run the little air pumps. Same with the heating as well. If you know, like I said before, if the radiator breaks down, I've got the heaters in the tanks. If the heaters in the tanks break down, the room's warm. It's just like you're always sort of creating that safety net for yourself. One of the things that I am looking into getting at the minute is one of them jackeries, just in case we have a big power cut that lasts for a few hours. I'll be able to create like some sort of I don't even know what it's called, some sort of like life support system for my fish room, a jackery or something like that, you know, some sort of power bank, massive power bank, just to run it. Scott's just saying he's been asking around, and that's what was recommended. A lot of koi guys use them. Yeah, so they'll be the big pond ones. They're spot on for what you need it for running a fish room. I have the Gemco US brand. IP26 is the smallest. I think that's a similar one, Jody, that the Corey uses done in his fish room and sells, I think, the IP ones. 43 tanks. Wow, that is insane. That's some serious power, that 43 tanks. I think mine would probably do 30 max. I think that'd be it. You know, it'd be pretty slow on the sponge filters. But if it came to a case of like a life support system, so I was setting it up as a life support, then I'd pull the sponge filters off and just use it as like on air stones. Quickly before I show you this, because I put some food in about half an hour ago to show you my shrimp tank, and they've literally all of them come to the front. So I just wanted to show you that quickly. So these are cherries and Bloody Mary shrimp. It's not something I usually keep, but I just wanted a bit of fun in one of my tanks. I'll get a bit fed up of the egg-laying fish for a bit. So I did this guppy and cherry and I think it started off with 5 Bloody Mary shrimp and maybe 3 or 4 cherries. I picked them up random, and now this tank's just rammed with them. And my tank in the house has got loads in it as well. They breed like crazy. It's absolutely tons of them, guys. But yeah, they're pretty cool. Scotch is saying, yeah, the Gemco units look good, but you can't get them in the UK, unfortunately. That's why I always find as well with aquarium products, like there's so much compared to the UK. Like the US has got a much bigger like aquarium. I know it's a much bigger country, but the stuff you can buy over there is insane. Like trying to find an arowana in US, you can go like 10 minutes down the road and you can find one. Over in England, you've got to drive like 3 hours to go find one. You know, like rare fish like that, you just generally can't find. A generator would be nice. So Jay's just saying a generator would be nice. We actually lost power around midnight for no apparent reason. For a few hours, no storms or anything. Yeah, it just happens. They were doing some road works, like some maintenance that road, and this road probably about 2 weeks ago, and the guy that was working on the power station actually blew himself up, like, and got massive burns, and it cut off power to like the whole area where I live. There were car alarms going off and all. It was like a massive explosion. It must have crossed 2 wires that weren't supposed to be crossed or something, and it cut off power to everywhere. And I was like, it's going to come to us because they're going to have to cut the wires out to put this new generator thing in. Luckily it didn't, but you know, something like that could happen. That happened around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. We're only about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, there's always the case with fish rooms. You just got to be aware. Right, guys, I'm going to go for this live stream, but thank you all for joining in, and thanks for all the comments and having a chat with me today. It's been awesome as always. Hopefully you guys will keep up my videos, and you've left a like today. If you're not subscribed, if you could subscribe, that'd be awesome. Hope you all have an awesome bank holiday weekend and spend some time with family and friends, and I'll hopefully catch you on the next one. So enjoy your rest of the weekend, guys. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. I've just uploaded one for this weekend, so I'll probably leave it this weekend, but there'll be one coming sometime soon for the next weekend, hopefully. I'm just going to spend a bit of time chilling out with my partner now. She should be finishing work soon, and I'm going to go for a walk and stuff and chill out for a bit. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hope you have an awesome one, and thanks for joining in.